Hello Lotus, and welcome back to the most informative Lotus channel on YouTube. Today we're going to talk through specking out your perfect Lotus Emira. We've got Mike here from Getaway Driving, and he's driven virtually every kind of version of the Emira there is, from the V6 to the i4, the both sport and touring suspensions. And you've also seen almost all of the cars, like the colors and the interiors and all of those options. So it helps a bit because, like, when you look at a configurator, you're seeing often like just a render, and that's different than real life. And there's also a lot of chatter about suspension choices and things like that online. So if you're someone who's considering an Emira, we thought we'd talk through the configurator with someone who's actually had their hands on all of the options, and we'll see what Mike thinks is a perfect spec. We'll see what I think is a perfect spec, and hopefully we'll help you pick your perfect spec.
Yeah, I'll mention we've both ordered cars. So
Right.
we've had different journeys, but I've made my choices that sit behind us.
Yeah, I lost all my money.
Roger ordered a car that was delivered.
Sure was. Not to me. But Todd over at Everyday Driver got the Lotus Emira that I had ordered and was delivered to the U.S. when I wasn't able to take it.
So the 2026 cars have some new things that we'll talk about. There's some new choices for people who are ordering a 2026 that we didn't have when we ordered. Of course, we ordered right after we placed our deposits right after they unveiled the car, and then we had to wait about a year before we could actually spec our car and place our order.
Yeah.
At the time, the configurator was worse. Let's just say it was not. It was a configurator that very clearly was not representing the colors and things very well visually. It was computer rendered in a way that I didn't trust it when I was picking my colors. So being a little bit indulgent, I flew to the UK and walked the factory floor just to see all of the colors in person at the time. So I care about getting the spec right, and I understand that there's questions whenever somebody comes in, especially a car like the Emira. It forces you to make some choices that are really difficult because you are buying a car for its deep, engaging, experiential characteristics, and some of these choices really change that experience. So I know people toil over which engine, which suspension, and which transmission, and we're going to get through some of that today with some of my hands-on experience, with some of our opinions. And like Roger said, I've driven every car. So I've driven both suspension choices. I actually have driven the Evora automatic.
Oh, you
So
did drive that one.
yeah, that one is the same 3.5-liter Toyota V6 engine with the same automatic transmission that's in the Emira. So I've sort of driven
Okay. I mean, it's
the
close
Emira
enough, right?
automatic, and then
Yeah.
yeah. So we'll talk about some of the new color choices. We'll give a little bit of editorial, and
Yeah. Well, there's some special colors too right now. I mean, and some limited colors in
yeah.
typical Lotus fashion.
Yeah, and there's some colors that existed in 2025 that are coming that are, I think, still on the configurator that I have not seen in person. So there's like 3 of those that I'm still waiting to see. Lotus hadn't, last I checked, which is pretty recently, Lotus still hadn't even sent the little samples that you can see in person to the dealers.
It sounds about right.
It's a bit of a wild card with those colors. All right, so we're going to dive into the 2026 configurator. And the first decision you're faced with is a big one. Emira Turbo or the V6. So now when we ordered our cars, the Turbo was available, but nobody had ever experienced it. The V6 had been in the Evora for a decade.
Right.
So I think everybody kind of expected, because the horsepower was the same supercharger, we kind of knew what we were getting with that engine. And it's a fantastic engine that is very reliable. Of course, it's sourced from Toyota, but Lotus tunes it up and puts a supercharger on it. And to us, having the reliability of a Toyota engine in this car was one of the big appeals. I see people online all the time say, the Toyota engine's not exotic. Like, why would you get a car that looks like that with a Toyota engine? Well, because it's a car that looks like that with a Toyota engine. I mean, it's like...
No, absolutely. I mean, it was like that with having the Elise too. I mean, with a car like that, to have an engine that is mostly trouble-free, it's pretty nice, because it's not the other way in like exotic land and like say whatever you want, but if you buy, buying one of those cars and then having to deal with like expensive engine repairs often, or like that stuff takes away from the enjoyment, I think. And the Lotus cars too I've never, I mean, they've had Lotus engines before, but they have a long history of using engines from different places. I don't think the engine necessarily is what really makes a Lotus. I think most of what people don't like is probably preconception, and they think that it's going to be like a lame motor. I think before they actually drive it, and then you get in, and it's like, where did this come from? I mean, it's just not. The way engines can be tuned and the exhaust and stuff like that makes such a big difference. I don't think that it's always obvious to us just how big a difference that it can make. Plus, having no sound deadening or anything like that, and having it, in this case, I mean, a few inches behind your head. If you're concerned that a Toyota engine is not going to be interesting enough, I would encourage you to try one of these, because it's probably a lot better than you expect.
Those things howl. You get them up high in the red line, and they make a noise that is just beautiful. Especially if you mod it just a little bit. So the Emira is subdued relative to the Evora. So I spent a couple of days in the Evora 400 just last week, and I was surprised getting back into that car that the engine note is a little bit fiercer, and it's actually more subdued at the lower end of the RPM range. But then you get up into the high stuff, and the howl is a little more unleashed, so to speak. And the other thing I'm surprised at is, okay, you drive this thing around and you get kids who want you to rev it, right? Like that's, and in this thing, the rev is not like, I kind of tell people, it doesn't sound the way you think it sounds. And you can change that. You can, the third cat delete is a popular option that's relatively cheap. I think it runs generally $250 to $300. And a little bit of elbow grease to put that in, and then combined with a valve controller, you can open the valves, and that now you've got the sound you expect.
I mean, we haven't even spec'd our Emira yet, and we've already modified it.
Yeah, so. We've already modified it, but that's one of the things that we're talking about the specialness of the Toyota. It's there, but in the Emira, you kind of have to unlock it a little bit more than you would in some of the previous Lotus cars. So Toyota engine, fantastic. If you want a linear power delivery that sort of feels naturally aspirated, if you want lots of burbling, because that car burbles up a storm, and if you want a car that has a really good sounding supercharger whine, and you just want that proven reliability, the Toyota V6 is going to be for you. Now, the AMG is no slouch. And the interesting thing that Lotus has done here is both engines are producing 400 horsepower. There's some confusion around that because originally in Europe, the AMG engine was only producing 360, but when Lotus brought it here, they bumped it up to 400, and now they've bumped it up to 400 over there as well.
Okay.
But now we have both powertrains with the same amount of horsepower. And so the differences are really in the character of how the car puts that horsepower to the ground. And with the turbo engine, you're getting more torque, lower in the band.
Yep.
You're getting a faster acceleration rate, mostly due to the 8-speed dual clutch transmission that is faster shifting than the manual or the automatic that the V6 comes with. And then you get lots of drama. You get the very pronounced turbo whine. You get the blow off, which is hilariously present. I mean, in a good way. Like it is just like, it feels aftermarket. Whoa. My heart rate is up. Good Lord. This car. It is a dart. I mean, it is up for this task. I just got chills. I mean, like full body, it's like rolling. And then you get pops and bangs when you're really pushing it, which kind of, you feel them in the floorboards. And it's, so with all of that is going on, you know, you've got one over your shoulder, the exhaust behind you, and it just feels like you're in the middle of this symphony, and it's really special. So that's different than the Toyota, which is a much more consistent sound than the AMG, which really reacts to what your right foot is doing. Um, so that's the character of the engines. Whether the the turbo or the V6 is right to you will probably come down to which transmission you want. If you want to row your own gears, you are going to have to select the Toyota. And I know that most people coming to Lotus, that's very important to them. And the Emira being one of the very last mid-engine sports cars, period, but one of the very last mid-engine sports cars, or any sports car that offers a manual transmission, it's very enticing to pick that option. And so the AMG has only the 8-speed dual clutch transmission, which is a good transmission. It has come under
Right.
fire for having a little bit of a delay in when you input on the paddle, and then when it actually shifts. There's just like a half-second perceivable delay there that was in the initial batch of cars. Now they say that they've made the 2026 faster, and I haven't driven the 2026. They've not delivered them yet. But I know that they have heard that feedback and they've been working on improving that. And so that's, I think, going to be just a software change.
Yeah.
Pure speculation on my part, but that might be something that's offered to the older cars as well. Now, I don't know if that's true. I haven't heard anything official to that effect. But if it is just software, then theoretically that's possible to do. So turbo or V6, that is a very personal choice. Now, when we ordered our cars, we both chose the V6.
Yeah.
I did not even entertain an automatic. Would you have entertained an automatic?
So the truth is, I was torn because I feel like the AMG motor is pretty cool and has more of a future. I mean, the V6, the Toyota V6 was definitely like its end of life, right? And so I knew that was going to stop, and I think, well, one, I really like turbo noises, so that was certainly a thought. And like, I don't think you should one should not downplay like the theatrics of turbo stuff. I haven't driven the Emira turbo, but like the Alpha 4C, like that had quite a lot of turbo noises, and I think it's, I think potentially a similar way, and that's quite a lot of fun. It's a different kind of fun, but uh, I think it really depends on the kind of person you are too. I mean, people are sensitive to different things, and so like what you enjoy about the driving experience may be more sound related, or it could be more, tactile. Um, they really can vary, and all of that's okay. So I was kind of torn because I had never owned a turbo car, so I thought about it, and the AMG motor is a little more exotic too, so that's also kind of interesting. And I think for tuners, there's the potential for more power. I don't know if we've really seen that yet. And there's also like, this is its first mid-engine application, right? Like this is the same motor out of like I mean, Mercedes uses it in a ton of stuff, but like the GLA 45 AMG and things like that. It's a 2-liter. I mean, I think it's 400 horsepower out of 2 liters. It's pretty amazing. But I also really like the way AMG motors sound. So it's two great choices based on, and it really is like it's just like, what do you want this car to do? And it's all, I would also point out too, for folks that can't drive manuals, then it's like, it's the best automatic option.
Yeah,
Right.
it is. So I would not recommend the automatic transmission that's mated to the V6. It is not a particularly modern transmission anymore. Certainly not to the level of like a Porsche PDK, and it lags behind both literally and figuratively the transmission that's in the AMG. So if you want an automatic transmission, the AMG is the car to get. And in fact, on 2026, I'm not even sure you can spec the V6 with the automatic anymore. So we'll take a look at that in a minute.
Yeah.
But you made a good point. So the AMG, I think, is the future of this car. There is an understanding in the community that that engine has a much higher ceiling to tune. Now, if you want to come into this and make some immediate modifications to the car, the V6 has decades of parts and precedent for being able to tune that engine up and make it sound different and behave different. Company named Jubu, I don't know if that's how they actually pronounce it, Jubu, has already tuned the V6 up to crazy numbers. 500. I don't know what they're up to now. I know they're at least 500.
Right.
But you can tune that engine up.
But like all Lotuses, it has been transmission like limited from a power standpoint. Like they're on the V6, it was the same problem in the like Lotus has forever had the issue. Just this is my Lotus rant or whatever. It's like they can't seem to put a transmission in a car that can handle any more power than the engine already puts out. You know, so it's just well, I guess maybe the exception. The AMG can very likely. I don't even know what that DCT can take, but
Yeah,
it's got to be a ton.
TBD.
Yeah.
But I think in the future, the AMG is going to probably see more activity in the aftermarket. And that's also because this V6, I think this is again speculation. I think it's probably going away. I think it might not be speculation because there's an understanding that these engines don't meet the new Euro regulations, and so these have a limited lifespan. So if you want a V6, 2026 is probably the time to grab one, or grabbing one of the 2024s that are currently out there. If you want the AMG, I think the AMG will see a longer lifespan, but they'll begin to iterate on that. And whether Lotus brings more power or the aftermarket brings more power, I think the ceiling on that engine will probably go up. So that's another consideration. The V6 is sort of a last call, I think, and the AMG is has a strong budding future to it. So what are we going to pick here? Well, let's pick what we picked. We'll pick the V6. Now, immediately you've got two options here, and this SE and the SE Racing line. So the Racing line package is new for 2026, and so it's essentially a visual trim package. Gives you the pinstripes. It gives you badging that has an accent color that matches the rest of the accents as well. So it is just a little bit of visual pop. That's a $3,000 additional cost. So, up to you if some pinstriping is worth that, some color shifts. Now, the one thing I'm not sure about is the interior on this configurator is showing the same interior that you get when you just order without the racing line. So it's the Alcantara interior that comes with the racing line with a stitch color that matches the exterior accent colors. Now you can get these interiors on the other packages without racing line as well. In Europe, the racing line package gives you a different interior. So you get bolder accents on the door cards, and you get a nice yellow, a bold yellow pinstripe on the center of the seats. I think it looks great.
That looks really good.
It looks really good.
Of course.
And also they change the color of the seat belts to match the pop of the accent color. So that actually to me is a lot of like I would pay extra for that
To get the Euro version.
Yeah, because a pinstripe. I mean, I could go down the street to a graphics place and
Yeah.
add that pretty inexpensively. But the interior accents are not so easy to add, and they look fantastic. And so I'm just not sure if we get that in North America because it's not showing it on the configurator. So TBD on that. We'll maybe update the video or the comments later if we find out for sure one way or the other. All right. So when choosing a 2026 car, I mean, really, even before you make these choices, your choices, do you get a car that's already out there that's pre-tariff, which has a lower price? Because what happened is the MSRPs were lower in the previous years, and then they're pre-tariff if they got into the country ahead of that. So those cars are going to be less expensive. So why would you pay extra for a 2026? I mean, the main reason is because you want your spec, and that's what we're building today, or we're helping you build today. But the car does have some changes. So they are minor. I would call them minor changes.
Yeah.
So the 2026 has a new compression mount on the transmission. They say that gives it more precise gear changes. That's not a complaint that I had. Honestly, the biggest sort of complaint with gear shifting that I have is that the first gear is kind of hard to get into.
Yeah.
And I know that some owners, I believe, have remedied that with just an adjustment on the cable. I have not done that, so I just kind of, shove it into first sometimes and fiddle with it. It reminds me that I'm driving something special.
Absolutely.
and finicky. But maybe it improves that. Lotus has also tweaked the suspension tuning and the wheel alignment for improved handling and ride comfort. That's what they say. We'll see how that manifests itself on the street. You know, I know that these cars tend to come tuned with a little bit of understeer in them. I think Lotus does that just to keep people out of fences if they're not used to a mid-engine car.
Yeah.
But in this case, I don't know if that takes another step toward a more aggressive alignment or if it keeps some of that understeer and it's more of a dampening improvement. TBD on that. So they also have some improvements to the cooling system. They're saying it enhances the efficiency of the transmission oil cooler and engine radiator. It also has the knock-on effect of shedding weight, which I know if you're here, you love. And so that is something that if you're a track rat and you want some improved cooling, that's a reason to spring for the 2026. It has a little more out of the box. The thermostat now opens at a higher temperature, helping the engine warm up a little more quickly. I've never noticed that as an issue in mine. It tends to be ready within a mile for me. And then they say that they have tuned the air conditioning to maintain a more stable cabin temperature. Is this worth, you know,
That's so
springing for the extra? Maybe. Yeah, I mean, I know that my car has like 2 settings. It's like
That seems very good. I don't know. I've never noticed. I have had no complaints about the air conditioning, I have to say.
it's very good.
Yeah, it's really
it
good.
blows quite aggressively.
Like it's like, you know, you've got a large supercharged engine and a very small cabin. Like it doesn't take a whole lot to cool down that space.
Yeah, I would say that's the thing that I do find myself turning the temperature up and down because that little cabin heats up quickly just from sunlight.
Yeah.
And then you've got the engine behind you, which doesn't help. And so it does get warm in there a lot. And so you tend to run the AC even if you have the windows down. I also noticed, you know, you do the old race car trick of putting your hand out the window and guiding some cool air in. You know, some of us do that every now and then, right? We're all have the same car disease. And in the Emira, you can kind of adjust your hand and get a different temperature because if you get it right between the mirror, you get the hot air coming out of the nostrils of the hood, and you can guide some of that hot air in. Or if you go slightly higher, you get the cool air.
Okay.
So just, you know, for fun. So those are the major headline changes on the 2026. Otherwise, it is a very similar car. Some of these changes you can probably implement yourself. The cooling is going to be the hardest one, I think, to replicate, and the air conditioning. But you know, nice quality of life improvements. But I think that if you were to go find yourself a 2024 or 25, you would be just as happy. And so that's but we're not here for that. We're here to configure exactly the car that we want. So let's pick the V6. And now the first choice that we're presented with is transmission. And as we mentioned, there is no longer an automatic transmission available with the V6. So V6 manual. That's
Okay.
your option. And that's right. That's the way it should be because that automatic was just not cutting it, especially relative to the AMG. So we have chosen a 6-speed manual with mechanical limited slip differential. Now your next choice is the one that I certainly toiled over.
Yeah.
For years. I didn't know if I made the right decision. And I know online I see people toiling over this suspension choice. So Lotus offers a passive suspension. You have to make your choice and then you have to live with it. They offer a sport suspension and a touring suspension. Now, Lotus says there's only a 10% difference in dampening and tuning between the two of these suspensions. I can tell you from experiencing both of them that there is a perceivable difference. Now, if you're someone who makes a choice and is afraid you're going to make the wrong choice, I want to put you at ease because both of these suspensions are great. The sport suspension, I think there's a lot of concern that it's going to be too firm, and in a lot of cars that are sport suspension, they get crashy. You hit a bump, and it's like, ugh, you know, you get that real jarring through the chassis. This car does not do that.
No.
The sport suspension, it still is lovely in its compliance, and it is still supple over rough surfaces.
Yeah, I mean, especially compared to if you've driven like one of the small platform, like the short wheelbase Elise or Exige, they're much. I mean, while they're still compliant, I mean, they're much harder than this. I think I don't even when I drive this one with the sport suspension, I don't even think about the suspension really. I mean, it's stiff like you'd want a sports car to be, but it feels just right for the road really, and I've never felt like it wasn't comfortable on the highway or anything like that. I mean, it's a very livable suspension. Maybe if you lived in really terrible roads, and then I'm not sure why this is probably not the right car for you, but I would say it would be. I'd be very surprised if any person who was like interested in Lotus was put off by the sport suspension and the Emira.
Now
I don't.
you ordered the Touring.
Yeah, so when I ordered the car initially, I ordered it with touring, um, but primarily it was because I also had an Elise at the time, so I thought I wanted just like a really different. I wanted to make the cars more different in my mind, and I really wanted something that my wife would like enjoy and be very comfortable on a highway kind of trip. So I was in a very different headspace. Now that I've driven the sport, there's that's what I would choose.
I've driven both sport and touring on track. My first experience driving the Emira was going to the factory and doing their Lotus Advanced Drivers course, the tailor-made Advanced Drivers course at the Lotus Driving Academy. And as part of that day, they give you seat time in both the touring and sport suspensions. Right-hand drive, so I was a little off balance, but um, my reaction to driving both of those suspensions back to back was that I didn't notice the difference. On track, when you have a smooth surface, they behave very similarly. We did, I think I did the cone test, the moose test,
Hmm.
slalom brake test with the touring, and I did not notice any unwanted roll
Yeah.
or softness. The car still was incredibly capable in the most extreme scenario, which is slaloming while braking. And the touring suspension, to me at that time, because of that, I thought maybe I made the wrong choice. But then when I took delivery of mine and was relieved when I took that, I just went over the first bump and I was like, oh, it's actually great.
Yeah. I feel like so much of the chatter too. I mean, there were a few videos when the Amira first came out where the folks in them who had ordered them talked a lot about the suspension, and the Harry Metcalf video. He went like around and around about like I think he didn't end up really liking the suspension that he picked, and I think that kind of fed into a lot of the thinking online because I mean he's super. I mean, and he's got my last. No, we are related. It's an existing cousin. I need to meet him. Um, I think someone like that with that much experience and Lotus experience, I think that just made people stop and question what they should choose. And because at least at that time you couldn't get into a car in the U.S. first before you drove it, whereas now you could at least test drive one. I think that made a lot of people worry, like, what am I choosing? And since it's not, adaptive, like I'm locked into this and that sort of thing. Um, but I think you have to look back, like those videos were coming out when the Amira really first came out and were UK specific too. And I think things probably have just changed a little bit since then. And those were early cars. And it just, I think as things have settled out, we know a little bit more than the reviewers did when they were driving the very first cars off the line. Right.
Yes. So, I mean, I think when it comes to this choice, context is key. So if you're coming from something like an Elise or an Exige or um, like a GR Yaris or something that is very firm in its suspension, you're going to find the sport suspension to be super compliant. If you're coming from a GT car, if you're coming from something like an Aston or a Porsche with the adaptive suspension that you tend to keep in comfort mode, that sort of thing, then you might find the touring suspension is more your speed. And so I'll say this. I didn't perceive the difference when I went on track at Lotus in Hethel, but after taking delivery of my car and living with the sport suspension for 6, 7 months, I then drove the touring for the first time again, and it felt very different to me. The touring felt like I was gliding on a cloud over some of the rough stuff, and so there is a perceivable difference. It took me a lot of time behind the wheel of this one to get to the point that it was that dramatic of a perception change. But if you are someone who is coming from a car that's not as focused, then maybe you do want touring, and it depends on how you're going to use it. If you're someone who is just going to use this car kind of as a GT car, because I think this car can be used as a daily, it can be used as a GT car. And it's a credit to it because it is very much a sports car. But the touring suspension is I think more aligned with that use case.
Yeah.
Sport suspension, of course, if you're going to be tracking it, if you just want the most focused thing, that's certainly why I chose it. I thought the Emira is going to be tuned more toward comfort than the Lotus that came before it. And I wanted the most focused thing because I was buying a very focused car. And so I was used to at least an Exige prior to this.
Yeah.
I drove your car all the way across the country on blown shocks.
Yeah, I had taken it in to have the car fully gone over, and I spent a lot of money on it, but at that point the shocks were not, well, at least they didn't notice anyway. Maybe they were going, they had to be close. And then, yeah, Mike started driving it across the country, and they just were gone by, I don't know, halfway through. I mean, and so...
I was telling you, I was like, this thing is, there's some vibration in the wheel here that doesn't belong. And you're like, oh, that's just road feel. Like, I think it's more than road feel. So another part of the context on these suspensions is your passengers. I'm a single guy.
Passenger.
Your passenger, right. Well, over time, you might have more than one.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. One at a time.
And so, I'm a single guy. If you get in my car, my rules, we might bounce. There might be some crashiness. There's no crashiness in this car, but in some car. And so, does it pass the spouse test? I will mention that I've had one non-focused car person, one non-car person in my car who commented, this car is riding a little rough. So there is some sensitivity overlaps with the sport suspension. So if you have a spouse who's particularly sensitive to the way a car rides, then maybe touring is the right suspension for you. And if you want that spouse to participate in your drives, maybe that's a reason to get the sport suspension if you want to go solo on those drives. But I know just being with the club, you see, I didn't bring my spouse because we're driving 500 miles and they just didn't want to participate in this. So,
Yeah.
But then you see folks with the Emira who, their spouse is with them because it's a more comfortable car.
You can totally pull it off in the Emira. I mean, my wife and I did a number of trips in the Elise, and she liked to make fun of that. But we've done some drives in the Emira, thanks to Mike here, and I mean, it's just if your headspace is from the Elise, going into the Emira is just a complete world change. I mean, if your partner was kind of on the side, on the edge or on the line about being okay with an Elise or an Exige, the Emira should be easy. I mean, it's a very comfortable, nice car inside. I mean, it feels great, I think. And it's got a stiff suspension, but it's hard to imagine that it would be too stiff for most people outside of having, medical conditions or things like that would...
Yeah, bad back, something like that. That's certainly a reason to go for touring. I'll mention the Sport does give you a little bit of bounce, a little bit of undulation on some highway surfaces. You get those concrete, highways. You get a little bit of that. I don't mind it. It reminds me that I'm driving something focused. I don't think it's all that noticeable.
I mean, I think for most folks, at least when we were speccing the Emira, the thing we were concerned about was, would it be raw enough?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I think, and now that question's been, at least we can address that question, but before it was very hypothetical for us. It was like, if you're coming from the cars that you like and they're very raw, you're going to kind of choose the rawest options.
Yeah. And so we are helping you pick your spec, but we are also picking what we think is the best spec. So I'm choosing sports on this.
Okay.
I love my sport suspension. You now like the sport suspension.
Yeah. I mean, if I were ordering one now, I would absolutely 100% get the sport suspension.
So now we're going to go to the next category, which is the exterior. So with this, now we're getting into color choice. Now, I've seen every color in person. As I mentioned, I flew to the factory to see the colors before choosing mine. I have some strong opinions on this. There's a couple colors I have not seen because they're brand new. I have not seen EOS green, and I have not seen purple haze. So green and purple,
Those look
they look good.
spicy, man.
They look good on the configurator.
Yeah.
And the configurator has improved since the old days. I think these are going to be great colors. I don't know though. I haven't seen them. The press pictures of the purple car look incredible. Now, purple is not for everyone, I understand, but special color on a special
I
color.
mean, if you're buying, the cool thing with the Lotus is that you can get away with any color on it. I mean, just
Well, so I'll push back on that a little bit.
okay.
I think there are better colors on the Emira than others. And I actually think it's a little bit counter to what looked good on Elise and Exige. Elise and Exige, you definitely wanted that like skittle color, and they had a lot of cutaways and black accents that kind of broke up a lot of the brighter colors.
Mhm.
It can be a lot if it's just like a broad canvas of color.
Yeah.
The Emira is, I think, one of the most beautiful cars sculpted in the past, I say 40 years, but it could even be longer than that. I mean, this is a gorgeous car.
Mhm.
And it's a gorgeous car in its shape. So I think the best colors are the colors that show off that shape, that that really accentuate the creases and the curves that they've put into this form. So I chose Nimbus Gray for mine, and I chose it because Nimbus Gray has, of all the colors, even still, has the highest dynamic contrast. So that is the most gradient between the high points, the highlights of the color, and the low end of the color.
Okay.
Getting into photographer, terms of, we're both photographers, and we have that sort of that eye and that understanding of like how light works on a canvas.
Mhm.
And so that's why Nimbus appealed to me. I originally wanted a bright color. I figured a car like this, you want something bright. I love, one of my favorite colors on all Lotus is the Isotope, which wasn't available when we ordered. It has since come out as a special edition.
Why was it not available?
It should have been available. They needed to hold something back, I guess.
Yeah, but I'll be honest, when the initial colors, I think a lot of people were frankly disappointed that they were all, I mean,
Mature.
they were too mature.
Mature colors, and even still, you have several grays to choose from and several blues to choose from.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of pop. It seems to be the strategy of, let's release a couple of special colors every now and then, rather like the Evora GT was like, here is the rainbow.
Yeah.
That car came
I mean-
in some spectacular colors, and I think they're kind of dripping those colors out to us. So, Roger, you did not choose Nimbus Gray when you ordered your car.
No, I mean, so I had an Elise in Storm Titanium, which is, I mean, whenever I look at that car, I mean, it's very similar. It's not exactly the same because the Storm Titanium had some kind of like color almost in the fleck, which I haven't, but I didn't know about the dynamic contrast factor with that, but I always liked how like these darker silvers, because they look metallic, are great at showing off. You get the nice specular highlights and all that kind of stuff, so you can really see the shape of the car. But when I was buying mine, I already had a Storm Titanium Elise, so I wanted a color very specifically. So I picked the Magma Red.
Even still, on this configurator, Magma Red doesn't look like Magma Red.
Yeah, totally.
So you have to be careful with this configurator.
But I did feel like the car needed, with the exception of maybe white, like I do think the metallic fleck on these is help. I don't know.
It is. Yeah, I think metallic is the way to go on these
I
cars.
think so.
Because it helps accentuate those shapes.
Yeah.
And the colors that have the most metallic, the most dynamic range that really show off the shape are Nimbus Gray. Magma Red is one of those colors that really does fit the form.
Yeah.
And then also Atlantis Blue does that pretty well. That's like a sort of a dark to medium, very deep blue. And then Osmium Silver, which is a more traditional, lighter silver. And even though it has less dynamic range than the Nimbus, it still looks quite good in that way. And from what I've seen in the photos, Purple Haze and EOS Green seem like they are of that category, but time will tell on those. So there's a different category of color that I think also accentuates the shape, but in a very different way. And these colors are generally masking the shape, until light hits it in a very focused way, and then it kind of focuses attention on that area where the light is hitting the car. So it is kind of a peekaboo effect.
Yeah.
That as you walk around the car, the light shifts and it almost makes the car look like it shape shifts. Very cool colors. And so there's two that I would put in that category. One is dark verdant, which is looks black until you have some light hit it directly, and then it's green comes through, and then very similar meridian blue is also a black looking car that you get pops of this deep blue when the light hits it.
Yeah.
So those two colors I like for the same reason, but for the opposite effect.
Okay.
Yeah. Now you have the loud colors. There are colors that are so loud that camera sensors can't even really handle them. So when you look at pictures online, they don't look right because at that point the camera's confused and it says, I'm going to use my internal color science to shift this to what I think it is.
Interesting.
And different cameras do that in different ways. So Seneca blue is one of those colors. Sometimes you see Seneca blue on a picture and it looks like Miami blue, like Porsche Miami blue, which is more of a lighter,
lighter tone,
paler blue.
Yeah.
But Seneca is very deep looking, very bold. It has that highlighter, like you almost have to adjust your eyes when you look at it if sunlight's directly on it. It's a great color, but it does, along with the other bright colors, which are Hethel yellow and vivid red, those colors tend to mute the shape of the car. So it's a bit of a trade-off because you're getting bright color, which is fun, and a car like this should be celebrated in a bright color. But it hides some of the form of the car over those metallics. And now, the keen among the audience here will know that some of these colors are metallic. The Seneca blue does have a metallic flake in it,
Right.
but it's less than the other colors, and it just doesn't pop that color as much as the ones that we previously mentioned. But those are the fun colors, along with purple haze and EOS green, and this is where purple and green start to get interesting, is they might be bright fun colors in a metallic. And I just don't think Lotus has offered that yet on this car. There were a couple of special colors in the 2025 model. They had a kind of a bronze and an orange, which is very intriguing because chrome orange, the old color,
Right.
on Elise and Exige was spectacular.
Yeah, it was hard to believe when these came out that the chrome orange equivalent wasn't part of the. I mean, that seems like table stakes to me.
3 legendary colors in the Lotus pantheon of color are isotope, chrome orange, and British racing green.
Yeah, I don't know who they were like. It's
first editions could have appeased the loyal and given them those colors.
Seems like that would have been a good idea. Well, also Lotus had also with the Avaya, with the introduction of the Avaya, the new design language, and the colors they were showing off on that car were just spectacular. And one is very similar to, I think, Nimbus Gray, but the other was a metallic yellow that's not like Hethel yellow, that is really interesting and pretty exotic looking. And I think you have to, I mean, it is a good question. Like, you're bringing out a new car, it's going to be the only one. Like, I understand from a production standpoint that fewer colors is better, but I feel like they should have had the option of some of the, we call them custom colors or something, just because they were more exciting. And when you have a launch, like, feed into the excitement a little bit, with some fun. But
Seneca blue was the marketing color. That was the color that they used in all of their press materials initially.
Yeah,
and it is a very pretty blue. Seneca is very nice. I was kind of torn. For me it was either Seneca blue at the start or Nimbus. And when I walked the factory floor, I saw a Nimbus gray car with a red interior and red brake calipers, and I fell in love with it immediately. And I knew at that moment that Nimbus was for me.
Yeah.
Now I changed some of the rest on that, which we'll get to later. But I want to speak to some of the other colors we haven't touched.
Sure.
So these are probably the colors I think are weakest on the car, but color is preference. So mist white, it's white. It's just white. There's nothing particularly.
I think it looks cool in white.
It looks nice, but that white doesn't,
like Stormtrooper,
It doesn't have like any pearl in it or anything. Like, it's just kind of white. Cosmos black is sort of similar. It's just kind of black. It does have some metallic in it, but
you could do a JPS livery, so that helps.
That's true.
Yeah,
but I think if you're going to get black, you could get Verdant or Meridian blue, which are kind of black, and then you've got that more interesting pop of color in direct light.
Okay.
So I think Cosmos gets overshadowed. See what I did there?
Mm.
By by some of the other colors. And then there's oh, actually I think they did away with, oh no, it's here, zinc gray. So zinc gray is the automotive equivalent of millennial gray.
Yeah.
This is Porsche chalk, essentially. It's that flat, medium gray. And the problem with zinc gray, I think, is it mutes the form of the car because it isn't metallic.
Well, like it inherently, like that style of paint causes the light not to scatter.
Right.
So I mean, you kill off reflection intentionally.
Yeah.
Which is, it's a vibe.
It's a vibe. It has precedent in that it's a very popular color on other cars. Of course, I think Porsche popularized it with chalk.
Yeah.
It became popular on Audis as well, and then it kind of became like a thing, like a zeitgeist. It's here as zinc gray. I don't think it looks bad. I think it's a nice color,
That's fine.
but I think there are better colors. I think there are better grays on the Emira. So I made my choice, Nimbus Gray. I still think Nimbus Gray is the best color on the Emira. Now, I know there's people who think gray is boring. I think on a car like this, it is a great combination of classy and sporting. It's a motorsport color, silver arrows and all that. Now, especially with the AMG,
Yeah.
little tie there.
It's beautiful.
But it also is the James Bond, classy valet cachet color. It does both things really well, and it looks great on this car. So that would be my choice.
Yeah, no, silver is the color of speed.
Yeah. Now you chose Magma.
Yeah.
I think Vivid, because Roger is a Ferrari guy.
I do like Ferrari. We don't really talk about it much on this channel, but long, I grew up in a Ferrari household. We'll put it that way.
Vivid Red is very Ferrari. Like if you want, this car already gets mistaken for a Ferrari everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's got some cues from maybe a 488 or
Right.
like I kind of see a little bit of it.
Oh yeah.
I think this car's prettier, honestly.
It totally is. It's definitely prettier than the 488, I think.
The Vivid Red will help you get more mistaken identity.
I think intentionally I didn't want, that's what I like. I want the Ferrari thing to be on a Ferrari and not,
Yeah,
my
it's a
Lotus.
it's a beautiful color. Like it really does. When I walked the factory floor, Vivid wasn't available yet as an option, but they had one painted in the corner.
Okay.
And no matter where I was on the factory floor, it was pulling my eye to it.
Does it have metallic in it?
I don't know if it does. It is very
Yeah.
low metallic, like the Seneca.
Okay.
I don't think it does. At least to my eye, briefly looking at it, I didn't notice it.
Yeah.
But it is like highlighter red.
I mean, I've got to see it. With all of these, there really is no like substitute for seeing it in person. I mean, the configurator being great is one thing. The great side of the plus side of that, like the Emira is so stunning in person. Like it's really hard to overstate that. I feel like it is.
Oh, we didn't mention Shadow Gray.
It's just the dullest looking
We
color.
forgot about Shadow Gray because it is but you'll be intrigued to know they changed it. I think they changed it. To my eye, they changed it.
Yep.
When this car first came out, Shadow Gray was pedestrian. They showed us a demo car. We went to see the car at our dealer that we ordered from.
Yep.
And it was painted in Shadow Gray. And we were like, that looks like a Camry color.
Yeah.
Like it just isn't special. It is such a regular color.
It's probably exactly like some rare Porsche paint to spec color, that we don't know about.
Yeah. But I had a moment where I was visiting Boardwalk Lotus and they had a car that was sitting out front and I was intrigued by it because I didn't recognize the color. And I walked out and I was like, this is a pretty color. What is this? And I looked at the window sticker and it said Shadow Gray. And it was a completely different looking car.
Okay.
So I think they've changed it.
They've changed it. Okay. Interesting.
And it looks better. So it is
all right.
but it is still an understated choice. If you want to get this car and you don't want to draw attention, you want the least attention getting color, it's probably Shadow Gray.
Seems like such a contradiction and
so what are we going to pick for our perfect spec here on color? This is tough.
I mean,
I want to pick Nimbus, but that's still perfect to me, but I feel like that's going to be controversial.
I'm fine with controversy. I mean, if I were choosing it, it would be either the purple or the green. At this point, I think I would be leaning purple is mean. I mean, really, what I would like is the Lotus Motorsport green. So they did the orange just for a year,
Yeah, the
like when they
orange
weren't
was
shipping too, so they made like half of one.
right, but there's not going to be very. I
Yeah.
know that in talking to the guys at Boardwalk Lotus, they have
They probably have half empty cans of paint they can still use
they
there.
do have some of those orange coming, so I can't wait to see those
Okay.
cars. But it doesn't, based on the all we got was online photos of the sample. We never saw like an actual physical sample. So
Yeah.
it looks more like a burnt orange, not a bright chrome like a
Or like
chrome orange.
yeah, the Exige orange.
Yeah, I think the bronze could be interesting because I have a feeling that's going to be similar to Nimbus and it's
Brown cars. Come on, man.
all right.
You just say no to brown cars.
I'm
So
gonna
anyway,
pick green.
you're gonna pick the
EOS
green.
green. I still, for the record, I think Nimbus is the choice,
Well,
but the green is
my
special.
only thing with the EOS green is I wish it had more blue in the green itself. It's like it's not the green for me, but it is very cool. So yeah, either one of those. We should pick one of those to see what we can do with the interior to make it, you know, go together in a happy way.
So the next choice is the black pack. So the black pack is all of these cars come with what they call the lower black pack, which is just the blacked out, sort of the middle of the valance here, and then on the side underneath the doors, you've got a sort of a piece of arrow there. The full black pack makes the whole roof black. So now Lotus actually gives you the choice between a lower black pack, an extended lower black pack, or a full black pack. So the lower black pack is the under the doors is black and the front balance is black. I think that's required on these cars. I can't imagine that being a color under the door. The extended black pack adds the rear Lotus logo is black. The exhaust tailpipe finishers are black. The front splitter air blades and side stills are black, but they are anyway on the lower. And then the rear diffuser is black. So that just mostly adds the black letters. And then you have the full black pack, which changes the roof of the car. Now, I think this depends on the color.
Yeah.
There are some colors that benefit from having less overall color on the car. And there are some that benefit from having a continuity of color over the shape. I think, like Nimbus, for example, I chose not to get the roof, the full black pack. And I think that was the right choice. I see cars now in Nimbus with the black pack, and they look good, but I prefer the look of
I mean, I think it generally looks fine. I was nervous about it because it just reminds me of sort of like piano black interiors. It's so just the nature of that. It seems so easy to get scratched up, and unless it's perfect, I feel like the black roof and canopy really has to be perfect for it to look good, and otherwise it just doesn't look right. And I really do like I think the shape is so effortless with the Emira that having the color across the entire, so you can see all of the lines, including we'll just say the canopy and, where the A pillars are, having that in color, I feel like that completes the whole thing.
So I think on cars that really show off the shape, the colors that really show off the shape of the car, like Nimbus, like Magma, going without the black pack looks really nice.
Yeah.
I think on colors that are really loud colors, like Seneca Blue, Vivid Red, the black pack looks really nice on those cars because it breaks up some of that noise, some of that volume of the color. So that would be my recommendation, is to put a lower black pack on a brighter, louder color car and then have the roof color match on cars that are a little more understated. But I think that also depends on the experience of the look of the car you're going for. With this car, my concept for speccing it was gentleman's race car. I wanted it to look classy, but then have these really racy looking elements to it, and so that's why I chose black wheels, the Alcantara interior, which to me was a little more race car, and so but the body color roof adds a little bit more of that classy color to it.
Oh yeah, I think so.
So on green, what do you think? Black pack or no black pack for our?
Oh man, can we toggle them back and forth again? Let me see it again. I am tempted to stay with the painted roof personally. But
We might find our first split here.
that's fine. I mean, I also like the purple better, so it's not even our first split. It's all good. But this is all good. We don't need to agree. I mean, the black, they're both good. The degree of difference in my preference is pretty small here.
I agree that on purple, body color,
Yeah,
I think is the choice.
yeah.
Um,
Oh man, that's nice.
Actually, maybe not. I don't. Ooh, that's one of those colors that can go either way.
Yeah,
Um, let's stick with
they're both
purple.
good. I mean, a lot of people like the black pack. I mean, I think that we should point that. I mean, it is kind of current popular design language, which could make it a fad too. And I think that's certainly like something that was on my mind at the time. It's like I might like this for a year, but over time, I think it's maybe not the right choice. But that is total speculation.
My judgment at the time, or what I told myself to make myself feel better about choosing what I chose, is that I could wrap the black if I really
I mean,
wanted.
I do think that is the best answer, is to get it painted and then, yeah, put black vinyl on it if you want the roof, and then you can change it later.
Yeah, because we have heard that the black on the roof is more prone to scratches and imperfections, and so
Right.
swirling, that kind of thing. So, if you buy the body color and then you wrap the black pack, then you don't have to worry about that so much, right? You can
Yep.
always rewrap it.
Totally.
So we'll say body color.
Yeah.
And now wheel choice. This is controversial because we are both black wheel lovers. That's right.
Well, I don't know about lovers. I just thought I thought it looked good on this car in some colors, but apparently I was wrong.
I think black wheels look great on this car. You ordered black wheels on
Yeah.
your red car,
Both
and then watched.
Todd and Paul and Matt Farah all agreed that I had made a terrible choice. Like this point, I lost all my money, had to give up the car, starting over in life, and they're all like, "Man, he made a bad call with those black wheels." So that's my claim to fame. 3 famous automotive journalists who have made fun of my wheel selection. In particular, I mean, like specifically called out my car.
I do
Well,
think
what was my car?
the black wheels carry with it a little bit more of that race car aesthetic. Now though we have more choices than when we initially ordered.
Okay. I mean, the black looks good on purple. I also think that I never liked the wheels that were like the diamond cut, I guess, which were the ones that were on that first Seneca blue Emira, like the two-tone essentially. Like I felt like it looked like an EV. Just leave it there.
I
Walk
feel
away.
like it draws attention to the wheels when the attention should be on the sculpting of the car.
Yeah, it's the short. There's something about that wheel design that it's not right in that two-tone. It's just wrong.
I think this is also where you start to see a division in generations, right? Because
Because I'm a boomer.
older folks, more experienced folks, I think tend to have this idea that silver wheels are the right look.
Yeah.
And I think younger go toward black wheels because for so long that was kind of like the tuner vibe.
Yeah.
And then now I think what Lotus is doing is they're offering kind of some middle options where you've got satin options. And the diamond cut with satin finish is
cool.
a new option. I think it looks pretty nice.
Yeah.
But then there's also these aggressive,
Ooh.
kind of angular, triangular wheel options that come in the silver, the black, and also a diamond cut satin. These are interesting. I also think they maybe get into that competing with the shape of the car.
They are potentially too busy. I feel like these are ones you need to see in person.
Maybe the black, it is certainly a more aggressive look.
I think it's cool.
So what's our choice for this car?
Man, I mean, if I were buying this, I don't know. If I were buying it, I might. I mean, the reality is, if I were buying one of these brand new, I would just go for. I would just go for it. I mean, it's a lot of money. Just go for what really strikes you, what really resonates with you, and I think. I think the thing that catches people up when they spec cars like this, and it goes back to like the idea of like Ferraris and resale red, and it's like creating a spec that will be palatable to a second potential buyer down in the future whenever you decide to sell it, as opposed to just choosing whatever you would choose for yourself. And when I was speccing mine, I was choosing just what I wanted for myself because I got red on red, uh, which saw very, very, very few other examples of. But I thought, like, well, if you're gonna do it, just if you're gonna go for it, go all the way. And I still feel that way, although I would do it differently now. All that said, I would do one of the either. I mean, all these wheels look pretty good on it. I don't like the two-tone kind of thing. I would do either silver or black, and I feel like
Although I think silver looks good, but silver I think makes it look a little old-fashioned. Um,
yeah,
it looks good. It genuinely looks great.
it does.
But it does look of a different era, I
Yeah,
think.
and it's also going to create a different, you know, the way the silver or the black or one of the satins, um, whatever you choose there, like there's going to be like the contrast of that with the paint plus the contrast of that with the calipers. And so like those things are kind of all you're kind of choosing them all in harmony, right?
Lotus Marketing is putting this car in the silver with the traditional wheel shape or the original wheel shape.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that is a nice look.
I mean, it's very classic. Like you're not going wrong with that. And I'd be happy with any of these. I'm kind of inclined towards this new, like that newest black wheel. Um, I guess it's
We're gonna
me.
get flames in the comments
I
for
will-
choosing black wheels again, but I think I agree with you.
I think it's cool. I mean,
We understand that the choice of most people on this color is going to be the silver wheel.
yeah,
I'm gonna choose black.
yeah, no, and you're welcome, Lotus. We're gonna help you move some of those black wheels that you got there.
Your next choice is tires. So this car comes with the Goodyear Eagle F1 Super Sports or the Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2s. I think that you no longer have the option of the Sport Cups if you choose the touring suspension.
Okay.
So that's at least what I've heard through some of my dealer friends.
Yep.
So I think this is easy. How are you going to use the car? I spec'd mine with the Goodyears simply because I was expecting to take delivery of mine in the winter. And the Sport Cup 2s are not tires that you want to run in cold temperatures,
Yeah.
and they're not tires that you want to run in the
Right.
rain.
And you've got to have you have to have a set of all seasons to use the rest of the and winters for the rest of the year with those, right? I mean, you even need to keep technically Cup 2s like heated in your garage in the winter, right?
I mean, the Goodyears technically require that too, but I think they're more
it's a higher temperature,
higher tolerance.
Yeah. I will say those Goodyears are great, and you've got 15,000 miles on this.
Yep, and they're still going.
Not like hard driving, but like there's still plenty of tread.
Yeah.
So I mean I don't know. I didn't know anything about those before you got it, but like I mean, I certainly like Michelin's, but I would have no complaints about these. I mean, they don't seem to have a lack of grip or anything like that.
I mean, if you're fair weather or you're a track rat, you're going for the Pilot Sports, the Cup 2s. If you are going to drive this car around town, if you're going to drive it in the rain and you don't want to have to think about it, Goodyears. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah. Don't make unsafe choices. Like, just it's okay to have a slightly less aggressive tire so that you can drive in the rain.
So the Sport Cup 2s, I mean, it's such a small, almost imperceivable difference, but I think they do deliver a little more of that feedback through the steering. So if you want maximum on that and you're willing to, get out in the autumn and change your tires to, complete those last 2 months, like here in New England, then, Pilot Sport Cup 2s might be the choice, but you're probably going to need an alternative set.
Yeah.
So I'm going to choose Goodyear Eagles on this car because they're more universal in just street use, which is where this car shines. Now the brakes, there's an option here, but you can't choose anything different. So they're cross-drilled and ventilated 2-piece brake discs. That's already selected. And then you have caliper choice. So the color of your calipers. The choices are silver, black, red, yellow. On this car, I originally chose red. I thought that looked great. I still think it looks great on Nimbus. But before I took delivery or before my order went in, I changed it to yellow. And I'm happy with my choice. I like yellow. I thought yellow is a Lotus color. It is a traditional Lotus color. It's associated with Lotus. And so that's why I chose yellow. I think on this purple car, yellow is the way to go.
I mean, it's like almost perfectly across the color wheel from that purple, It looks great.
So I think our perfect spec is going to go yellow here, but the red looks great on certain colors.
And the yellow and the black too. It's like they interplay nicely. I mean,
The black is, I mean, if you just want to completely hide your brakes, the black, you just don't notice it at all.
yeah. I just don't
If you want an
understand.
understated look. Silver, I don't think you really notice either. So if I think these cars look good with some color pop.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got yellow brakes, brake calipers, and now the badges. Now you have a choice: yellow and black or black and silver.
Oh, yellow and black.
Mm-hmm.
And black and silver. So no longer yellow and green.
Yeah, no longer yellow and green. I think that's yellow
Interesting.
and black now, isn't it?
I thought that was yellow and green on yours. Oh, that's interesting. So you can choose black and silver now.
Yeah, the black and silver was, I learned this recently, was originally a nod to Jim Clark,
Yeah.
in memoriam to Jim Clark,
Right.
on the road cars. And so you can pour one out for Jim
Yeah,
Clark
well, it
by
was only used on
choosing.
racing cars at first, and then they, people started putting them on their Lotuses.
Mhm.
So I mean, it's certainly a nice tribute for it, and it's sort of the morbid history of motorsport. I mean, how many like the our car companies like have badges that are in memoriam. I mean, it's like you got Ferrari, Alpha, and Lotus now. So I'm sure there are more that I'm unaware of. But I don't know. So it's it's sort of morbid in a way.
I do think the yellow is the way to go on any color that you're choosing the yellow brake calipers. I think having the pop of the badges around the car is a good way to go.
hmm
If you're choosing any other color of brake caliper, then I'm much more willing to go black and silver. I don't think there's really a wrong choice on the badges.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of I feel like black and silver is probably more aesthetic, uh, and yet I'm drawn to more of like the original, just like Lotus colors on the badge, um, personally. So what are we sticking with? Are we sticking with that?
We're sticking with yellow,
Yeah. Okay.
uh, which brings us to interior. So interior options: black leather, ice gray leather, red leather, tan leather, black Alcantara with gray stitching, black Alcantara with red stitching, yellow stitching, or black and red. Oh, they do have the new accents.
Oh, okay.
So we did not choose Racing Line, but now you can choose that bolder new interior with the black leather and either red or yellow
I mean,
accent.
this color might look pretty good with the racing lines. Maybe we should add it. So just for those options. I mean,
We're gonna add. Okay, we'll have
why
to
not?
start over. So we'll add.
Oh,
We'll edit in Racing Line. We'll add
we can't make the change now.
well, if we do, we have to
Oh, we
go.
have to
It
back
might
all the way
reset
out.
us. We have to back all the way out to get to
No,
that one.
let's not do that.
So I've seen all of these interiors except for the newest black leather with the pop accents.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love the black leather
Okay.
in these cars. I just think that it's not that special. They've made it more special with these accents. So now I'm on the fence. But ice gray looks fantastic in this interior. It is
Yeah.
a really special color. Yes, it's going to be harder to keep clean. No comment or idea on how it's going to age. Red looks good. It's a brighter red than I had hoped for. You have to really go bold when you choose red on this car. It is bright, bright red.
Yes.
And then tan leather, you get that like mix of people who like their tan leather to have kind of that orangey hue or to be more like saddle brown, like deep dark brown.
Yeah.
This is kind of in the middle of those.
Okay.
I do think it looks good. I prefer myself the more saddle brown,
Yeah.
deep dark
I do
brown.
too.
Um, and then you have the Alcantara interiors with the different color stitching. That's a really nice looking interior. I think this interior is well suited by the shifting in texture because you get some leather on the dash, then you get the Alcantara, which has a different texture to it.
Yeah.
And that contrast is subtle, but I think it looks really rich and expensive.
It feels really nice, I would say, inside, and I mean, it looks great. It's just like a little harder to keep clean than I mean, like if you get the Alcantara, you're going to be spending some time keeping it clean. I think that's not that you wouldn't otherwise, but like it needs more attention for sure and care.
Yeah. And so what's our choice on this car? Now on my car, I chose the black Alcantara with the yellow stitching.
Yeah.
I think that was the perfect gentleman's race car
It
spec.
looks so good. I mean, I think when I spec'd mine, I did red on red, and I stand by it. And I think that it's awesome, and I think you should live life to the fullest, and apparently that's what that means. But the black Alcantara with the yellow stitch is really, really nice. I mean, I think it would have been cool to have more color options than just the yellow, but the yellow is great. And either yellow or white, I think, would both look great. Having some contrast is important. The Alcantara, it makes it feel, you know, like a modern sports car. I mean, that is what we're doing. And so, you know, it's a really,
and they say it
really
holds
good
you better,
trim.
right? That's the whole point of the Alcantara is
Yeah.
it's not as slippy when you're going through the turns. These seats are not aggressively supportive, so that could sort of help, I guess.
Yeah.
But you know, that's marketing mostly. I think you're not really sliding around either way. Yeah, mileage may vary because seats are so dependent
very
on
personal. I mean,
on
it's
personal shape.
yeah.
But I have zero complaints with my Alcantara. I love it. On this car, the purple car,
Yeah.
I'm tempted to do the same, but the ice interior on purple,
Yeah.
ooh, that looks really,
It
really
matches
good.
the ice out the window. I think the
Yeah, this car, the configurator is apparently at Burning Man, which is going on right now.
yeah. I mean, I feel like for this one, I mean, with purple, I feel like you either go Alcantara or the ice leather. I think. Or black leather if you just really didn't want to deal with it. But I mean, with the colors we've chosen so far, I think you're starting to do weird stuff. I mean, I guess you could get away with with brown with tan, but I don't think you could get away with red.
Yeah, I mean, one of the most popular specs on this car is the dark verdant with the tan leather. That spec is always in demand. And then with the yellow brake calipers and some yellow accents. That is classic Lotus, in sort of look and appearance. Of course, they had the Jim Clark special edition car.
The red seats are part of, I mean, it's a Lotus racing thing too. So that's, I mean, I think it's part of why they were offered early on too. It's like the green car with the red seats is, that is
That's a
Lotus
good
race
point.
car.
The Lotus thing is actually the red with the green.
The red seats, yeah.
I mean, but the green with the tan is the British thing.
Yeah.
I don't know which mark would have popularized that originally.
Probably Jaguar. the company who no longer makes a car.
I know that Boardwalk has a dark verdant with the red interior right now. That was just put up on their like a featured highlight. It looks really good.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't expect that, but it does really work.
I mean, I seem to recall that being a popular order combination at first when we chatted with the sales folks. I mean, for that reason, but I still think the dark verdant was too dark.
All right, so let's see. We seem to agree on black Alcantara with yellow stitch for this car. Although the ice is a beautiful option as well.
Totally, I think. But having been in the Alcantara, I really like it. I do think it elevates the experience. I mean, most cars do not have Alcantara interiors, so whenever you get in one, it feels special. And I do think when you're getting a Lotus, you want it to feel special. I mean, I don't see how you separate that. I mean, that is part of the equation, I think. Yeah. And plus the ice likely is, I mean, it's white interior is tough to keep clean. And it's such a pretty car. I think you're going to end up with issues that you just never can quite solve with a white interior. And the Alcantara is not going to have that. Yeah. So.
Agree. Black Alcantara with yellow stitch. That's what we're going with.
Okay, so we're doing the yellow. Okay.
Well, we have to match the brake calipers.
I mean, it will match the brake calipers. Totally. Okay.
So then we have roof trim. So black Alcantara is the only thing you can choose, and that looks nice. Exposed gear change mechanism on the center console is pre-selected here.
Yeah.
So that's great. We all love that detail. The sport pedals is also pre-selected. No issues there. Lotus continues their history of having a tight pedal box.
Yep.
So you can, I don't know if the camera can see this, my shoes have a black marking from where they rub the brake pedal.
That's great.
So that is, a reminder, if you wear shoes that are, like these are not necessarily a wide body shoe, but they are a running shoe. And so if you drive with even shoes like this, you are grazing.
Hey, to speak for yourself, as a true dad, I've got my yellow Crocs here, and I had to move the car the other day, and I went out in the middle of the night, and I was wearing my Crocs and didn't think about it. No problem.
Totally fine.
No problem.
Croc approved.
A little pedal feel not great, but I can. I'll bet you there's not a whole lot of Emira owners who have driven it with Crocs.
Chime in the
Yeah,
comments.
yeah. Let us know.
For seats, 12-way electric adjustable sport seats, that's already pre-chosen. I want to upgrade my seats. I kind of want an Evora seat in there, or maybe something more aggressive from an aftermarket. That's something that's on my to-do list. So that'll also save some weight because those electric seats are heavy. But there's no other choice here. So seat belts. Now this is a new choice. This is interesting because we
Okay.
didn't have this choice when we ordered ours. Black, red, or yellow.
Ooh.
I would have chosen yellow.
So, in the red car,
Red on red on red.
I would have gone all the way, and I would have let Lotus not let the reds wouldn't have matched, and I would have been fine with that. I think in this case you got to go yellow.
Agree.
And that's cool because, like, man, that reminds me. I mean, that's very GT3, like, or Porsche, like GT3, like Porsche GT cars. Like they often have the colored seat belts, and I feel like that's a nice touch. So
It's also weirdly Polestar.
oh, is it weird? Okay,
But that we don't. That's
yeah,
there's history pre Polestar.
got it. But yeah, I love the yellow. Sounds like that's a good choice.
Yeah, it's the yellow. I would have liked to have that actually on mine, but
Yeah.
so the steering wheel. Now we have the leather with so this is a new thing. We thought we were going to have this choice, and it wasn't ready, I guess, at the time, where they have the on center indicator being a different color.
It was only available on the V6 autos.
Yeah,
right.
Which it's piece of tape maybe can do that.
Yeah.
And then you've also got some contrast stitching around the inside of the wheel, which is really nice looking.
Okay.
It's very, very luxury looking. So I think I chose the Alcantara wheel on my car. I've driven a lot of the leather cars since. I really like the leather wheel on this car.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I made the right choice. That's the one thing on my car where I question my choice. It is special. It is hard to keep after. You're always brushing it. You're always keeping it up.
Yeah.
But it looks great. So I still go back and forth, even after owning it and driving the other ones.
You are also one of the few people who uses your Emira as a remote digital nomad office.
That's true. I work in my car.
Right. It's like Costanza, like working under his desk and having like little shelves and stuff in there, right? So it's a little more.
The wheel has nothing to do with that.
I love the Alcantara wheel, but I haven't tried the leather one. I will agree that it's kind of a pain to like keep it clean. I do think it feels great though, and like that is your main touch point. So I feel like it feeling special is, I don't know, a good idea. But Todd totally disagreed with me, and he got a new steering wheel from GRP on the one that I had ordered. So once again, my choices have actually been canceled out. But from my original car, both from the
He's not bitter about it.
Both wheels.
Leather or Alcantara? There's no bad choice here. Listen, this is preference. If you're gonna track it, I guess there's a case to be made for the Alcantara being less slippy, but you're wearing gloves anyway at that point.
I think the cool thing about whatever you choose here is that at least in the case of the steering wheel, you can swap it.
You can swap
later, so it's
and you're probably would. I mean, the other part about the steering wheel is the buttons. You can't change anything; it just comes the way it comes. But they are capacitive touch, and I all the time I register errant inputs, and so there are people out there who are swapping out wheels with buttons that you can click.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
That don't have the capacitive sensor.
Yeah.
So wheel is. You can change it. I've grown. Originally I thought the wheel was too big. I thought the Squircle was annoying to kind of maneuver. I vastly preferred the Evora round wheel, and that lasted about a week. And then I came to really like this wheel.
Yeah.
And now I may even prefer it.
I like it.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
So leather or Alcantara for this car?
Since you have actually driven the alternative, I'll go with your judgment on this one. So we can do just a black leather wheel.
I'm going to do the black leather.
Okay.
With the yellow indicator.
You do the contrast stitching. Oh, yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it looks great. Looks great. Feels great.
Yeah, this is a nice spec.
Next category is equipment. Now, a lot of this is going to be lifestyle stuff. So heated seats. I think that's fantastic in a car like this. I like having the windows down and hearing the noise. And on cold days,
oh yeah,
heated seats can help you have those windows down a little longer. These heated seats are scorchers, and they tend to
Wicked scorchers.
come on and go off. Like it's like where'd the heated seats go? And then oh, there they are on
Yeah.
fire. So they're a little inconsistent in that way, but they're great to have. Premium carpet mats, sure, they have the name on it.
Okay.
If you want to, I think that's included anyway. KEF Premium Audio. So the KEF Audio,
That's what we had in ours. Is that right?
yeah.
Okay.
You know, this is one of those things where if you're coming from an Elise and Exige, hallelujah, there's a radio you can hear.
I have
Right?
I have the most popular Lotus Elise car stereo replacement video on YouTube. So check that out for all those folks. But yeah, I mean that stereo was a couple of times before I swapped that out. I drove across country with a Bluetooth speaker behind my head so that I could hear it. So this is so different from that. If you have previous Lotus experience,
Yeah.
the stereo is fine. I mean, but I've never listened because the car itself. One thing with the Lotus and like a real sports car like this, I feel like the car itself is so engaging. I don't want like complex, like loud music going on while I'm driving it. I kind of want to be focused on it. And so
I very rarely listen to the radio in this car because I just love hearing the car
yeah,
itself.
when I have my Elise, I'd never listen to it. I never even think about it with the Emira. The only thing is I want to be able to hear maps and maybe an audio book or something like that on a long drive. But I will say when I have listened to it, it sounds like a reasonable car stereo for a car that doesn't have a whole lot of sound insulation, and is made out of all kinds of composites.
I think that's it. It's reasonable. I
wouldn't spend more for it.
shuddered. Well, but I shudder to think of what the non-KEF system is.
Yeah,
I think KEF is par. Like I think it's
maybe
it's good enough.
Yeah, it
but
looks
it's
nice.
not like so I think the best stereo I've ever owned weirdly is I had a Tesla Model 3 Performance.
Mm-hmm.
And I've loved the stereo in that car. It sounded fantastic, and it was not branded in any way. It was just it just had a great clear dynamic sound. This car is not like I miss that stereo in that car.
Yeah.
But then I've also had Jeeps that like the same similar situation. If you can hear it, it's good enough. So I think I'm going to select the KEF Audio because this 2026 car is supposed to have an update to that.
Okay.
And so
how much is the option?
it's $1,250.
I gotcha.
I think if you're going to get this car, you don't skimp on that and you just have a radio for when you want it.
Sure.
And make it special. So
yeah,
I think mine KEF Audio is good enough. Privacy glass, $550. Now, if you have the black pack, there's a case to be made for having that sleek black extend down the back of the car.
Yeah.
But I think you'll agree with me on this. I want to see the engine in the rear window.
Yeah, I think if you've got the V6, if you have the AMG, I think it's less important because that engine cover doesn't look that great. But if you've got the V6, I mean that's such a massive part of the styling. I think that's it being clear is the whole point of that the rear hatch. I just and you could always tint it later if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
So
that's true. You can tint it. So
yeah, I don't.
No privacy glass is our perfect spec here. Home link. That's the buttons to open your garage door opener. That's pre-selected. There's some people who program that to control the exhaust valve controller settings. So if you put the Miltech valve controller in the car, you can program that to your buttons on your mirror so you can open your exhaust. Convenience pack is pre-selected. Reverse parking camera. I mean, it's always that it's federally regulated, so you're always going to get that. Passenger net. My net broke actually. I think I put a suitcase on it and it just snapped the little. So I got to go get that replaced. Okay. And then storage net in the passenger footwell.
Okay.
I've never used that ever once. Never even noticed it was there. But you need that for the camera. It's pre-selected.
Okay.
So then you have extended co-driver pack. This comes with high beam assist with LED, door opener warning, and rear cross traffic alert. That's new.
Okay.
And it is pre-selected. So
okay,
there is nothing you can do there. You must have it.
Yeah.
And that's something that we didn't mention with the 2026. I believe it does have driver assist.
Okay.
Like the blind spot
monitoring,
and the lane.
Okay.
lane,
It is,
the ADAS system.
yeah, it is hard to see how that would be a negative for this car, I would think. I mean, it's like, I know people like simplified things, but any cars like this, like your visibility is a lot less. I mean, it's really quite good in the Emira, but it's not the same as, you know, a typical car.
Cross traffic alert and blind spot monitoring are
Cross traffic for
good,
sure. I mean,
but there's going to be people who want to turn off that.
oh yeah, I mean, if it's got lane assist, that's a crime in the Lotus. that that is.
I don't know if it does.
The Elise is like anti-lane assist. You know, it's like, you know, tram lane. It's just central. You go where the car goes.
It has a lane departure warning.
Lane departure warning. Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, that's fine, I guess.
I'm turning that off.
But yeah, that would be. I mean, that would be as bad as an automatic start and stop kind of which would be just a travesty.
So that's it, Roger. We have built our perfect spec, and it is a purple
I mean,
on black.
that is a cool car.
That is a cool car.
Mm-hmm.
Although I'm looking at it, and a couple of these photos look fantastic, and I feel compelled to still choose Nimbus Gray.
Well, I mean, I'm just glad I mean, that's a great thing. To like your car that much is awesome. And I mean, I just catch myself looking at it all the time. And it's beautiful.
I'll say that
the only flaw with the Emira design is that it has 2 windshield wipers.
Yes, that is true. Please, somebody, Greg.
I think maybe we should probably tackle it. I think maybe we should
tackle it.
I think so, because you don't even realize how wrong it is until you like go look at a. That's what makes it not a proper Lotus, to be honest. Is the
so for those who don't know, every other Lotus has 1 windshield wiper, and
at least recent ones. I don't.
Even driving that Evora 400 last week,
Yeah,
I did hit a small patch of rain. I turned the wipers on. That one wiper, I was like, oh, that's so special. It's great.
It's fucking awesome.
Oh yeah. Please, we'll buy that.
Yeah.
We'll buy an adapter kit.
Let's sort that out. That can be done. That is doable.
So silly, but so necessary.
If the Cybertruck can be created, that's it's possible.
I'll even let it rest on center. I don't care. If it, you know, like
resting on center is ideal. Yeah.
All right, so that is as spec'd in 2026. This is a $121,550 car.
Okay.
That is before destination, and destination used to be 2,300-ish.
Okay.
I think that's not certain what that's going to be for 2026, and so that could be up to $3,000.
And this includes tariffs, from what we understand.
This price includes the new tariffs, so we don't know like what part of the mix tariff is, but that's the price now.
Cool.
Post tariff, and then with destination fee on top, that is more expensive than the 2024 and 2025 cars for sure. I paid $97,000 for that car, first edition, fully loaded, top spec.
Yeah.
I chose every option I could at the time that was a pricey option. It was all included.
Well, it's funny how expensive it felt at the time, and now like how much more expensive it is, really just due to like economic changing things so fast, and so much has happened since the car was introduced.
Yeah, and there are going to be people who say that's too expensive. And I think those people are living in the past because
so it's hard.
Everything's going up in price, and now the Cayman does not exist anymore. You cannot buy a new Cayman anymore.
This is basically the same price as a 911 with no options at all.
911 actually went up too, so the 911 starts at 136.
Yeah, so it's a bit less than that.
Yeah.
But that's always like a good. It's always worth like looking at that, because it's a known quantity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can get a Corvette for less. Certainly, Corvette is the one that's going to be undercutting the price on this. But you're not going to get a manual transmission in a Corvette, and you're going to get a few extra 100 pounds at a minimum, and you're going to get a much longer,
uglier,
bigger car.
Mm-hmm.
Looks are subjective. We'll be kind to it. I think it looks good when it has all the.
It looks good from one angle.
Stuff on it. Yeah. Like, I appreciate its boldness.
You do.
But
to me, it is like an incomplete, brutalist, unresolved. It's just not right. It just ain't right. But that's.
Well, I will say maybe less controversially,
The E-Ray looks better, I think.
that I disagree with you.
Oh.
Like the E-Ray with the painted front just doesn't quite.
Okay, we'll see.
Yeah, obviously it's subjective. This car's just. It's just this
The
car's one of the
Emira
best looking cars on the
It's
road.
beautiful. I mean, it's
Period. And I think it exceeds the looks of all sports cars, new or used.
It's one of the
in the
best
modern
ever. I
era.
mean, this has always been one of Lotus' strengths, and they got. I mean, the only thing that maybe looks better is the Avaya.
Yeah.
You know, and this looks so much like that. I mean,
I was impressed by
relatively
that when they
speaking.
rolled this out. I was like, wow, they actually went. They leaned more into the specialness of the Avaya than I expected.
Yeah.
And that to me was like great.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So there it is. Our perfect spec, although mine might be Nimbus Gray. And that's hopefully that's helpful in choosing yours. And you should go get one of these cars because they are they're pretty awesome.
Yeah, let us know how you spec yours, and then of course, if you don't want to spend 120 something grand, there are still 2024s that are out there,
Kicking around.
and so a lot of those are still pretty much at the that 100,000-ish range, right?
Yeah, the MSRP on those cars is right around 100,000, depending on the spec. The V6 is a little more.
Yeah, it can be hard to find V6 manuals. I think that if you're trying to find one of those and you do find one in the spec you like, it's probably worth grabbing. And like, I guess the other thing is like,
I had
there's
visited.
just no question that it's worth what it is, but it can be a hard number to get your head. Like $100,000 is a mental block. Like that's tough, I think, for a lot of folks. But it really, I mean, like we are just in a different time, and money's not what it used to be. And so, but I don't think there's any question that it's worth it. Every time I look at it or get in it, I mean, it's just, it's really a special car, and you'll never see it coming and going. It has history. I mean, a lineage. It's so. I mean, there's so much cool about it. It's worth far. I mean, way more, I think.
Yeah, I noticed that when I pull up to a place like grocery store, supermarket, the most common question I get is, "What is that car?" But the second most common question I get is, "How much did that cost?"
Yeah.
And I tell people, sometimes I don't like to give a number. It depends on the context, but
Yeah.
sometimes I just say it's Corvette money, and they're surprised by that usually, because they look at it and they think that's way more exotic than a Corvette. But
It is.
when I tell people the actual price, I say, "Oh, they're about $100,000." They go, "Really? I thought it was much more than that."
I think people are like the public is getting more used to the fact that these things are getting more and more expensive. But I think if you've been a car person for a long time, 100,000 was kind of always like, well, 100,000 you can get some kind of supercar-ish thing, and that's just changed, But if if you're in your 40s, like I am, you're still kind of 100,000 is still sort of like this watermark, for where you expect something really special, and well, you can get one, but it's also a lot of cars. I mean, a lot of like just nice SUVs are pushing that. I mean, a Jeep Wagoneer fully loaded is more than that, I think. So it's all kind of relative, right? But thank you all again, and thanks Mike from Getaway Driving for joining us here on Auto Sugar. And as always, leave your questions and comments down below this. And thank you for watching.